Hello all, welcome to part 34 of the Wireless LAN Security Mega Primer. So in the previous video, we have looked at how to crack PEEP using the ASLeap utility. Now in this video, we will actually concentrate on PEEP networks in a Windows environment. So basically there is just one slide required to to summarize all of the PEEP hacking which can happen on a Windows domain, and that is basically the configuration options for PEEP in Windows. So the first thing we need to look at is basically validate server certificate. Now if you remember, this was the biggest problem and the starting point of practically every hacking attempt as far as PEEP is concerned. So this needs to be checked to ensure that the server-side certificate validation happens. Now, of course, the second logical question would be, what is the expected name of that server to whom which we are going to connect? So this could be something like radius.securitytube.net or something similar. And this is where connect to these servers need to be specifically mentioned, because then Windows will go ahead and look at this name, look at the certificate and check whether everything matches and the certificate is for the given name. The third part, of course, is trusting which certificate authorities. Now this is where both the name and the authority is important. Why? Because, well, anybody could actually buy a certificate from Thwarte, and if you do not have connect to these servers specifically mentioning the name of the servers or the domain to which you're connecting, well, it's a valid certificate, and hence all traffic and everything may go through and the client would never complain. So first is validation of certificate, second is the allowed trusted CAs who are allowed to issue the given certificate. Number 3 is the expected name of the Radius server for which the certificate is being issued. Finally, if for whatever reason this does not match, then it's a good idea to practically fail silently. And this is where the checkbox do not prompt user to authorize new servers or trusted certifying authorities is a very good idea. Because as historically we've seen, users are gullible, especially non-technical ones, and they may just press OK to most alerts and dialog boxes without understanding or worrying about the repercussions. Last but not the least, you also have other options for MSChap v2 which you can use. So if you had clicked on configure, this would allow you to probably send your Windows domain credentials as the username as well as the accompanying password using MSChap v2, which is challenge response based on the password. Typically you would not want this unless, of course, that you're authenticating via some sort of an LDAP connection behind the Radius server. Anyway, these are the important ones which you need to take care of. There are a couple of others, but these dominate. So let's go for a quick demonstration. Now what I've done is I've created a Windows Vista VM which is running in VirtualBox, but I have my USB DWA 125 a D-Link wireless card which is connected to this VM, and that allows me to go ahead and provide wireless access to my virtual machine, even though VirtualBox itself does not support native wireless inbuilt cards. So what I've done is I've already created a little profile, and if you double click the profile, you would notice that currently the security settings have been checked off, which is validation and all of that. Second, I'm just using custom authentication, and hence automatically use my Windows logon is also disabled, right? You're going to be using PEEP and it's WPA2 Enterprise AES. So I've changed the configuration of the access point to use WPA Enterprise now. Then we also have our handy Radius server with the wireless Sponish edition patch up and running, and what we've done is we're just monitoring the free radius server WP log so that we can capture the MS CHAP challenge and response here. Now let's go ahead and make a connection. So let's connect to a given network. Security tube is the one. Note that verification of certificates etc. has been disabled right now, and what we could do is we could use any combination, let's say demo and demo, which is of course an invalid one, and we would currently actually get that there was some trouble, because if you look at the background, the MS CHAP challenge and response has been captured. Of course, the Radius server rejects the overall authentication. Windows still seems to be trying. Anyway, while this is happening, even though we may have a rogue Radius server, Windows has actually gone ahead and sent the credentials over to us over MS CHAP v2, from which we may be able to recover the password. So let's try it. Let's go ahead and let's open up a new terminal. So I think we were using ASLeap in our previous demos as well. So we have ASLeap -c, which is the challenge, and we're going to cut, copy, paste it from here. And then you would have the response to that challenge. Also pasted here. And then finally what we do is give it the word list. And as expected, we were able to crack the password, right? We could, as different users may be connecting, we could probably also have given something else. So as an example, I could have given the age-old security tube and demo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? And as we can clearly see, this goes ahead and ends up in a success, because this is one of the credentials the Radius server currently recognizes. Anyway, even if it hadn't and this was a purely rogue Radius server, then we could just go ahead and get the new challenge response packets from here. So we have ASLeap -c to get the challenge. And having some trouble with the minimizing this. Okay, we paste it here, and then we have the response, which we also will take up from here. This is the response. You can minimize these windows, paste the response, and also give the word list. And this is demo 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cracked once again. Game over, right? So this is how, if you use any combination of insecure configurations, like in this case, which is to go ahead and disallow certificate verification, etc., things could go wrong. Now, interestingly, if you go ahead and enable certificate verification, just go ahead and open this up. What you would actually notice is that the authentication would just fail all by itself. So it says require some credentials, security tube. I hope for Microsoft's sake it just fails automatically. Okay, I think right, it silently seems to fail, and this is typically because the certificate error is there. I've actually seen Windows behave a little funny, because Many a times I've seen it show me the actual certificate and ask me whether this should be used or not, but I think in this case we've gone ahead and added another configuration here. Okay, I've not added the do not prompt user one, but it automatically fails because it isn't able to validate the certificate at all, right, with the given certifying authorities. Anyway, Windows 7, by the way, has a couple of other interesting options where you could even go ahead and configure other things for the .1x, like entering the username and password and having it stored, forcing logon, forcing this to the .1x authentication to go through as soon as logon happens and things like that, right? Anyway, the basic idea which I wanted to convey is that Windows implementation of PEEP, just like the OS X one, is vulnerable if we do not go ahead and set the correct options, which is certificate validation, ensuring that trusted CAs are only used, and last but not the least, you've also mentioned what to expect as the Radius server itself, so that the certificate matches with the name in question, right? So that's all for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Please leave your comments behind, and if possible, a donation as well. Many of you are donating. It's something I really appreciate and thank you all for, simply because it really makes me feel as if my work is being appreciated by people, and this allows me to keep going, making more videos and providing more useful content. That's all, guys. Hope to see you soon in the next video. Bye bye.